Good evening, welcome back to Let's Play the Beginner's Guide. When we left off last time, we were about to head into Chapter 15. Things are getting more and more desperate in our Coda games here. I have to wonder, is there... Because again, we're trusting what the narrator says. Is our narrator and Coda, are they the same person? At the beginning it didn't sound like it, but I'm curious to see how this is all going to end up playing out, where it's going to go. Hey there, guard. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. Well, so if you've captured the machine, this is obviously a continuation of the last game. I intend to be quick, I guess, so I certainly don't intend to be brutal. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Ah. So, Coda sees himself as a machine? Or has Coda been some kind of machine all along? Some sort of program? Will it be punished? Give us answers. Will the machine answer for what it's done? Well, what has it done? Will we get to see the machine? No answers at this time. Hey, buddy.
And of course, it's the machine.
So, you stopped. What happened? So we're feeding us, keeping us alive, or keeping us healthy? I guess... Eating? Can you imagine what pain you put the people through because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day? How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? All of these are horrible things to say. Ooh, what's the least horrible? We don't really have a concept of what pain the other people have been put through. That's kind of horrible to tell someone that all of us are so, I don't know, incapable of finding our own joy through life that we're only dependent on the things you create for us. Trusting, all these sound so horrible. I guess trust. We've been so alone, huh? Apologize for leaving me. I don't want to say that. I have to, but I don't really want to. Think carefully, I know how to hurt you. I've seen the thing you fear. I'm not threaten. Nothing? Alright then, I will apologize to the people on your behalf. That's dishonest. If you're going to pretend that the machine has apologized. Well, we gained nothing. Press. My friends. Oh, it falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine will not apologize. I don't think it's fair to say it refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us, because maybe it didn't. We will find a way to live without it. And, yeah, play it retribution. No, just show it that we're not failures. We can survive without it. We do not need to destroy the machine. Oh, I don't want to destroy everything it's created either, but of those two choices, let's leave the machine alone. Oh, back here, eh? But I don't want to shoot anything. Do I have to? Okay, I can't go forward here. Can I go back around the sides again?
Remember, you can
Nope.
click to fire the gun.
I don't want to fire the gun. Fine. Oh. Alright, Coda, I'll make sure you're known forever. Oh, isn't that what you're scared of? Exposed to the view of others every day forever, seen in naked clarity. I was
So now the work is becoming self-destructive.
trying to say it in a nice way.
And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his game.
But he's afraid to.
It might get him out of isolation.
What if they don't have nice things to say? Maybe he's worried he can't
And
take
so,
it.
as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
That's
Would
a
it give
dicey
him
decision to make
confidence in
for
himself?
someone.
Would it bring meaning back into his work?
I don't know that I can get on board with the idea if someone does not want their things necessarily shown to others, of just showing it to others to prove like, oh, see, it was fine all along. Hey.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work.
But what if they hadn't?
There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I mean, yeah, it works out well that they liked it, but what if they didn't like it? Would you have told him, or would you have not have said anything about sharing his work? I would like to put down my weapon. I'm not really sure how. Don't shoot Coda. How do I... I hit E. I thought maybe it would
Can you
sheath
see
it.
why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good.
But if it was a very
When
private
someone
thing...
really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix
I can understand that,
If I could give him this
but
gift, maybe I could fix the problem.
it was a breach of trust.
When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Something about our narrator got a little too excited about that. Something in the inflection concerns me, that maybe there's something nefarious going on with our narrator. And that this is all not necessarily what has been presented as. not just a
And this
friend
is where I
presenting
have
his...
trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
If you say so, it kind of just feels like a tower to me, but...
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
So then, if this game despises the player, and this comes after Coda's feeling rather betrayed by our narrator sharing his games without permission, maybe it's Coda's way of saying that the games were never really meant to be played. They were never meant for everybody. Maybe they were just a way of communicating with the narrator, or, again, right along, I've been thinking they're just things Coda made for himself. And so this game is more something possibly for the narrator to show that Coda's really unhappy about the games being shared. Perhaps.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
But wait, when we played the house cleaning game, was it portrayed to us? I don't think the narrator didn't say that he'd changed it to make it playable. No, he didn't. He didn't at all. Instead, it just ended and the music stopped and he said, and now the other door is open, and this happened suddenly. This is an unreliable narrator. Alright, what's your game, narrator? What are you
The
playing
only way
against us
past
here?
this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Alright. R516. What, 15, 16, 17? Huh? Down we go.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
See, so if we were to believe him, and that was the end of the game Coda created, he ended the conversation, you cannot progress past this door.
Was I a failure?
What's
for not
all the rest of
understanding
this?
Game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them...
None of them what? Keep talking.
I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Well, maybe he wanted you to get to know him a different way. Not just make a bunch of assumptions about him through the games that he's created. Read things in that maybe are there and maybe aren't.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Somehow made his work my own.
That I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
See, some of the things our narrator is saying now feels more like this has been just a whole ton of the narrator reading all of these things into these games that isn't necessarily there right along because of a desperate neediness within the narrator himself, not within Coda. He's been saying he sees all these feelings and such in Coda, but no, maybe it's our narrator all along.
Where did I screw up?
It hasn't been about Coda really at all, has it? Dear Davy, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
If we accept that the whole premise of this is true, and the whole thing so far has been true, and this game itself is in some way the narrator's way to try to reach out to Coda, to encourage Coda to make games again or something, then it's actually a hugely gross violation of this clear boundary that Coda has drawn. I'm holding out hope that there's more revelation to come, but like at this point, if I were to assume that all of it thus far has been honest, that the narrator's been telling us, then this is like a hugely inappropriate way to try and reach out to someone who does not want you reaching out to him. And especially to share all of his things without permission. Which I don't think... Could you even legally share all these games if they weren't actually the narrators without permission? I'm thinking not. So
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
I wonder at times whether you think I am making these games for you. Well, our narrator did seem to be thinking that Coda was making these games for him as some kind of attempt to communicate that he needed help. But that's not the case at all, is it, narrator? You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere, hidden between games.
They treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
The same way right along you've been explaining the games to us and your interpretations of everything you've seen about it. That's what people listen to. Oh, okay. Yep. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you any happier? Well, our narrator seems to think it would. I give Coda a lot of credit for realizing it wouldn't. Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Give them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Yeah, lots of boundary violating going on, narrator. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them. Oh. Would you simply let them be what they are?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
Okay, so this obviously isn't meant to be necessarily like a real thing, like our narrator is a real life person who knew this real life Coda and the whole situation. Okay, yeah. I don't know, I kind of half thought maybe it could be, sort of, but no, clearly not. This is just a very interesting story unraveling here. So what I'm wondering now is, how much of all the games we've seen thus far have actually been Coda's original creation, and how much have been the narrators tweaking them? How much changes has the narrator made and not told us? When I am around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something, and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. Exactly, it's just working through something difficult. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. Go Coda, you're freaking right. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks, and that you make peace with this thing you're wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again?
The walls are closing in.
Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me?
I think they are.
Because
Maybe not.
I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it?
No.
I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Oh, this is lovely. Is this like the train station out of time from Harry Potter?
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Can we board the train? Yes. Alright, let's look around a little before we do. Just in case. Okay, so this is pretty awesome, the turn that the game has taken now. Because up until this point, I was kind of buying into the idea that maybe the narrator was an actual person just portraying these games to us. And I was like, it's kind of, I don't know, sort of obnoxious to insist that there must be deeper meanings and interpretations to all these things, because I don't think there has to be. And yeah, pretty awesome, the direction the game's going now. I like that. Nice texture on these seats. Well, on the tops. The bottoms, not bad. They match the carpet here, but I really like how these seats came out. The sort of plush look they have.
Solution.
The outdoor scenes with trees are, well, really any kind of scene. It doesn't have to necessarily be outdoors, but the scenes with the trees and the grass, that's what I like the best. The feeling of being outside.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
What? You as in they'll hate the narrator? I'm thinking that's what he's meaning. The sentence structure was just a little bit unclear to me, but... What's going on in this room? Is there a bunch of dirt up here in this house? Oh, I was hoping it was a mirror. I wanted to see myself. So very well presented. At the very beginning showing us the email. Oh, if you have any other different interpretations of events, feel free to email me here.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but The thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
You have to find a way to be internally validated. I know, the lights are obviously over there. I just want to see if there's anything else to the side here. Although it is really dark. This looks like our side wall. Yeah. Seem kind of narrow. No, they're big enough I can fit through.
What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Okay. So what? I'm gonna figure out, I'm gonna have to work through this very last part all on my own? Alright. I know I probably don't have to walk through the archways, but I want to. And I probably do need to go up there, but what's to the side? Can't fall off the edge. I can't quite make that jump. This feels in some ways similar to our first level. There's the color of the scenes that we've got here, some random blocks, different areas. Yeah, no? Down the hatch? Oh, it's just gonna take us right back up regardless? Oh, oh. Ah, in the train station again, eh? There's like thundery noises. It startled me. Alright, what do we got here? Oh. This is a familiar puzzle. R, huh? This R. Okay, so it's sounding like that's the end? This project would not have been possible without these individuals. Okay. So then this is making me wonder now, that bit we saw. The first time we did that, and we rose up above and there was so much level we saw, was that the whole of this game that it was showing us? I kind of wonder. I'd have to look at it again to try and see if the layout makes sense, you know, from scene to scene, but I wonder, that'd be an interesting touch. Well, so that was the beginner's guide. That was pretty cool. It fooled me at the beginning. It did. I didn't realize that I thought our narrator was very possibly presenting what he told us he was presenting. So I really like that it kept going there, and then it was only towards the end we got some more subtle signs from our narrator that maybe he was a little too invested in his interpretation of these games. That there was more to it than that. That was a pretty nifty little game. That was quite a bit of fun. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and wind the episode down here then. As always, please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. You can head on back to my channel. There's a whole bunch of other Let's Plays you can check out, and always keep an eye out. There will be more to come.